Hello and welcome back to another week in new genre books. My name is Amelia, and from Locus magazine, I'm about to tell you the top new science fiction, fantasy, and horror books being published the week of April 9th, 2024. Thank you again to everyone who chipped in for our recent fundraiser. Thank you to everyone who helped boost our signal. We are exhausted and we are grateful. The Indiegogo page is still up, and if you go look at it, it's like a family reunion with all these lovely, familiar faces and voices of incredible writers doing wonderful things like reading their stories for you. You're telling me you don't want Ai Zhang to read to you, or Kat Valente, or Fonda Lee? Yes, you do. Go check out the link below. Let's talk about books. First up, science fiction. We have 3 new books to tell you about. From Edward Ashton, we have Maul Goes to War, out from St. Martin's in hardcover and ebook. This is a science fiction novel, a mix of thriller and satire. Free AI Maul is dealing with a pointless war between augmented federals and puritanical humanists. Maul ends up stuck in the body of a cyborg mercenary responsible for protecting a modded girl. From Lindsay Llewellyn, we have Chaos Grid, out from Enclave Escape in hardcover and ebook. This is a young adult Christian science fiction novel. When mankind's attempts to control nature backfire, Texas becomes a wasteland. Domed cities are all that's left. When her parents are murdered inside the Plex City Dome, 17-year-old Juniper Conway wants revenge. From S.A. Barnes, we have Ghost Station, out from Nightfire in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a science fiction horror novel. Psychologist Dr. Ophelia Bray is assigned to a small exploration crew who recently suffered the tragic death of a colleague. As they begin to establish residency on an abandoned planet, it becomes clear that the crew is hiding something. Next up, horror, we have 5 titles. From Elliot Gish, we have Grey Dog, out from ECW Press in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a gothic horror novel set in 1901. A spinster hiding from her past in a tiny farming community starts seeing animals behaving oddly. A swarm of dying crickets, a self-mutilating rabbit, a malformed fawn. She soon believes that something old and beastly, which she calls Grey Dog, is behind this. From Stacey Stokes, we have The Darkness Rises, out from Viking in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a speculative thriller novel about a young woman who sees imminent death like clouds hovering over people's heads. What could possibly go wrong? From Sarah Langan, we have A Better World, out from Atria in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a satirical thriller about a family moving to a walled-off company town where things are supposed to be safe, and the family is told to stop asking questions. Is that ever a good sign? It's probably about as useful as being told to calm down, being told to stop asking questions. Does that ever work, like to tell us to calm down, or does that just make us come in hotter? From Polly Hall, we have Myrrh, out from Titan Books UK in hardcover and ebook. This is a horror novel. Myrrh has a goblin inside her, a voice in her head that tells her all the things she's done wrong. She's searching for her birth parents across seaside towns in the south coast of England, while Cayenne is trapped in a loveless marriage, having visions that promise her a baby. From Hannah Witten, we have The Hemlock Queen, out from Orbit US in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a dark fantasy novel, second in the trilogy The Nightshade Crown. The corrupt King August is dead, Prince Bastian has seized the throne and raised Lore, a necromancer and former smuggler, to his right-hand side. Lore must figure out how to protect herself, her prince, and her country from a dark power creeping through the catacombs. Next up, fantasy strap-in, we have 12 new books to talk about. From Lee Bardugo, we have The Familiar, out from Flatiron in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a historical fantasy novel of a Jewish servant in Spain whose little magics attract the dangerous attention of the nobility and maybe the Spanish Inquisition. From Max Gladstone, we have Wicked Problems, out from Tor.com in trade paperback and ebook. This is a fantasy novel second in the Craft Wars series. With apocalypse on the horizon, a girl and a god have joined up to try to fix it. From Lindy Ryan, we have Bless Your Heart, out from Minotaur in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a vampire mystery romance novel set in Southeast Texas about a family of women who own a funeral parlor and fight vampires. From Mark Lawrence, we have The Book That Broke the World, out from Ace in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel second in the Library trilogy. Ivar has been forced to flee the library. Levira, trapped in a ghost world, has to recover the book she wrote, a book that is a threat to the library's existence. From Salome Goldberg, we have first novel, The Last Phi Hunter, out from Angry Robot UK in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel. Ambitious Phi Hunter and perpetual lone wolf X is trying not to fall in love. Good luck with that, bro. He's helping heavily pregnant runaway Arinya escape through the forest, facing dangers from ghosts, men, and monsters. From H.J. Reynolds, we have debut Without a Shadow, out from Camcat Books in hardcover, trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel about a thief who can steal with her shadow, which sounds great until she targets a killer who can take her shadow for himself. From Micaiah Lucier, we have Dragon Fruit, out from Clarion in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult historical fantasy novel inspired by Pacific Island mythology. Hanalei of Tamarind is the daughter of an old island family, forced into exile until a female dragon offers her a way back home. From Melissa Holtz, we have debut An Enchanting Case of Spirits, out from Berkeley in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy/supernatural mystery novel about 4 friends after a 40th birthday party leads to a ghostly encounter. From Rose Sutherland, we have debut A Sweet Sting of Salt, out from Dell in trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a queer feminist fantasy novel reimagining of The Selkie Wife. By the way, if you get something out of these videos, please take a second and hit that like button for me and subscribe if you haven't already. It matters to us. Leave me a comment. Let me know which books are calling to you. Anyway, next up from Douglas Westerbeck, we have debut A Short Walk Through a Wide World, out from Avid Reader in hardcover, trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel about a woman who has a curse that will kill her if she stops traveling to new places. From Ian C. Esselmont, we have Forge of the High Mage, out from Tor in hardcover, trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel, 4th in the Path to Ascendancy series in the Malazan world, created by Esselmont and Steven Erikson. Emperor Kelanved orders a new campaign to the north, but the main army is busy and the second string are not ready for what's going to happen. From Stephen Brust, we have Liorn, out from Tor in hardcover and ebook. This is a fantasy novel, 17th in the Vlad Taltos series. Vlad, on the run from the left hand, hides in a theater where they're putting on a show banned for centuries, and he's put on stage. Finally, in collections, we have 3 titles. From Aaliyah Whiteley, we have Polestars 6, Drive or Be Driven, out from Newcon Press UK in hardcover, trade paperback, and ebook. This is a collection of 19 science fiction stories, 11 original, all about travel. From Liz Williams, we have Polestars 7, Back Through the Flaming Door, out from Newcon Press UK in hardcover, trade paperback, and ebook. This is a collection of 32 science fiction and fantasy stories, most not available elsewhere. From Fiona Moore, we have Polestars 8, Human Resources, out from Newcon Press UK in hardcover, trade paperback, and ebook. This is a collection of 18 science fiction stories drawn from more than a decade of publications, plus the title story, a new novelette that appears here for the first time. That wraps up this week. Thanks for showing your love by spending your precious time with us. At Locus, we diligently, maybe obsessively, figure out everything that's going on in the science fiction, fantasy, horror publishing world so that we can tell you all about it. We do an annual big award called the Locus Awards. We do book reviews and author interviews. We do all the things somebody ought to do. And lots of big name writers and other highly credentialed industry people credit Locus with helping them find their feet in this weird, wonderful world of publishing. The magazine and YouTube channel are a labor of love. We are at Locus Mag or at Locus Magazine on most platforms. You can read more about the science fiction, fantasy, and horror field over at www.locusmag.com or check out our Patreon. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Come back and see us again soon, and we'll be here next week with more new books.